Alright guys, welcome back to our next video. Today we're going to continue getting our FiveM server up and running. The last video we was working on the mechanic script. Today we're going to continue on that route and get into the handling side of that. This is more of your, if you've ever used a tuning laptop, that's the kind of situation this one is, but it does have a few more options. Now I haven't looked at it if they've made any updates, so we'll look for any updates they've made. But the last I used it had a really low scaled version of it where you could do the menu style of tuning, and then it also had another version where you could get more into using the actual coding side of it, where you increase the number in the field to increase the speed or the handling or whatever part of the car handlings you want to adjust. So I really like this one actually better than the Wizarding version, so that's why we ran it before. So that's what we're going to run with now. So let's get it unpacked here so we can get over to the site and you guys can see. And again guys, if you guys haven't already done so, please take a moment to subscribe, like the video, comment down below, slap the notification bell. That's all going to help us with getting the server out there better. The like and the comment is really strong for the algorithm. We are trying to get on the road to 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 watch hours, so that's the thing we're working on now, as we're going to use this to help with development of our other servers, as well as other streams and channels and things that we've got in the works as well. So anything of that nature does help with our other projects. So none of the money goes to us. If we ever get to that point, it would never go to us. It will go toward expanding our projects. So let's get after it again guys. Like and comment, subscribe, those things cost nothing and it does help us tremendously. So let's get after it here. Just keep going down this same rabbit hole of trying to get the server up and running. Again, these are all no edit videos and they are just the basic install videos. Now the development side of that will be in this whole separate playlist, as when you get into development, one script will tie into another, which will tie into another, which kind of makes showing the full-on development side of a script kind of hard to do because it's all one-sided. You've got to think, 4D chess with this thing. And, what you do over here is going to affect what you do over there. So you kind of, some of these tie together. You may need Drug Creator to help you spawn an item for something else, and you might need that to do something else. So that's why I say development is its own thing. Installation is 90% of the problem. Development is just 90% imagination. So let's open up the pack here. There's the handling. What we're looking for is the README. I'm pretty sure it's going to be really simple. So you got to have, for dependencies, you're going to need Aux SQL, which we already run, Auxlib, which we already have, and OneSync with Infinity. That's just a normal thing for FiveM servers as it is, so you're good there. They do have a link to their Discord in case you have any issues or want to get in their community to see what other people are doing. It's always good when you're trying to learn how to develop a script itself. Get into their community, kind of ask questions. Hey, what have you guys done for this? What have you guys done for that? Maybe they'll throw some ideas at you. Maybe you get hit with the same bullshit that everybody else gets in FiveM servers, creator. Discord, you get the jackasses that know everything and want to share nothing. That's why we're creating these videos, guys. That's it. I'm trying to cut out the bullshit. Anybody can do it. Anybody has the mental capacity to do it. You don't need to pay somebody thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars or tens of dollars to do this. You can do it yourself. You just have to have the ability to sit down and be willing to fuck up. So let's do this. What we're going to do is click that. I'll bring you guys down here with me. This is the installation. But before we do that, I want to go over here and show you guys, as always, I want to show you, why is it doing that? That's weird. I want to show you the actual website again. Again, they have some really good scripts. Now, in some of these, I actually say they really like them. The mechanic script, they really like them. I mean, they are, don't get me wrong, I do like them, but I mean, $100 to run these is kind of a bit of a rough stretch, but I mean, it's to each their own. Let's get this thing open here. So basically, it's like I said, it's an editing script. You get, I don't guess the thing will get any bigger. Let me try something. We'll zoom it in here a little bit. So you can kind of see, you'll see this when we do the actual install, but this is the kind of thing I'm talking about here. This is where you can adjust the items. This is the more of the coding side of it, because you can see there's a number field where you can adjust it. I think it does show you the max, so you don't go overboard and have your car blowing up. And then you've got this one. It's kind of the same thing, when it kind of is just another, keep going down. It's a pretty long little list of things you can do to these cars. This is a visual editor. Which one? This is the one. This is the one I was thinking of. Now this is a simplified editor. What this does is it allows you to use a drop-down menu like this is here to make your changes. And these are, I mean, this is actually, if you're just trying to do a down and dirty quick change on a car to see how it's going to react, this is a good way to figure it out. And you can adjust the speed. I mean, it's got a lot just in this little spot right here. That's why I say, in some instances, if you want to code it just right, you can make this version for your mechanics and this version for your admins, because there's so many things in here you can change. And if anybody's ever had any type of experience with aiding, you'll find out that if you save a car that's really jacked, it'll really jack up your garages. So you got to be really careful when it comes to these. And the good thing about this one is you can do it, and when you save it, it will do temporary saves. So if you're just trying to do it to test something weird, or you're just trying to play around, you can not save it to the car. You just save it in the cache, and then when the server goes to a restart, or you put the car away, the coding doesn't stay with the car, and then it actually has the option where you apply it to the car itself. So keep that in mind as well. But I mean, it's a pretty good setup in my personal opinion, because what it's doing is it's editing these fields on the car. And if you've ever looked at a car, and eventually when we do the video on your day-to-day things, setting up cars, building cars, car packs, what have you, I'll show you where this is. But I mean, it does give you the option to go in and change stuff. You can save profiles. It's a really good. Now this is the one where I was talking about it. So when you make changes, it's going to come up and ask you if you want to use the current handling, if you want to ignore it, or you want to use base, whatever how you want to set it up. It's really set up very well. I think who built this one learned from the mistakes of the was-aiding laptop. So let's jump back up here and do this. Alright, so basically, let me look on there again. Let me see if there's anything weird. Let's go back over here. We didn't do this. Let's look at, where is handling? Here we go. Installation. So you drag it in, and of course we're not doing that. Do the config, and if you get an SQL error, install the SQL. If not, it does it itself. So basically the same install as you had on the mechanic side. So like I said, you guys, you can do this. You can do this on your own. You don't need to pay somebody. I know it sounds weird. The only time you really have to do anything is if you try to change stuff. If you're trying to use the exports, you need to change the export on something. That's something you may want to ask somebody about. But 9 times out of 10, don't go to someone on a Discord somewhere, and unless it's the Discord for that particular script. You can say, hey, has anybody had this kind of problem? If they say, yeah, you just got to go do this. Try it, but save copies first. If you still can't figure it out, do both. You go to the one who made the script that you're installing, and then go to the one who made the script that you're having an issue with. So if you're using OK Banking and JG Mechanic, and you're trying to figure out why the money's not depositing, you can go to both and say, hey, I'm having this problem. One of them's going to kind of touch base with you and give you a summation of what could be the problem. Then you apply that to the other person's answer and tell them what the other person said. And you can kind of play mediary. That's how I learned a lot of the workarounds on a lot of stuff, is you go to both, and between the two, you can go through all of the I'm smarter than you bullshit, and you can kind of figure out, okay, I need to do this. Because that's the problem we have with FiveM community. We don't have communities. We have a bunch of people who know a little bit of stuff, and they try to act like they don't want to share it. They try to use, they try to put gates up around all the information, like, oh, I'm the only one that knows how to do this, and I'm not going to show you. We're not doing that around here. If we know the information, I'll try my best to help you. As long as I don't have to go in and do a full-on rebuild of some shit for you, I mean, my advice is free. All we ask on our end is just to like and comment on the videos. That's it. The rest of it is open and available for interpretation. But with that being said, and I've been on my rant for the day, let's get back up here. Basically, all you're going to need to do this one is you'll open the install, and there's your database, just in case you get a database error. We installed the mechanic, got no database error. I installed this before on my other server, had no issues. That's just in case. So, only thing we got to do now is the config, and we'll go in here. And most of this stuff, I almost guarantee you probably won't even have to mess with very much. So you're going to have auto framework, which is fine. Now the notifications, if you want to force it to use your notification, you can. Me, I wanted to force it to use mine. So copy and paste. If you're just using the regular stuff, don't worry about it. If you haven't physically installed something that you absolutely want it to use, don't worry about it. Okay, so editor command is editor. That's admin only. You can even, put jobs on there too, like mechanic or government, whatever. That way only certain people can actually use it. That's probably what we'll end up doing at some point. The timing tool can also be used on its own. Otherwise, it will be locked to use within the handling editor preview only. I don't really know about the timing tool as much. We'll mess with it a little bit as time goes on. And this is part of development. You mess with it and see what works for you. And you may be 6 months down the road and find out that people are taking advantage of one part of this or another, and then you have to reel it back in. So it's always one of those situations where you always end up jumping in head first, and then you have to kind of back off as time goes on. Timing tool, and then your distances. So, these are, nothing too big there, nothing too crazy. But most of this stuff, like I said, is just as it is. You don't even need to mess with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this and close it. This one is very, very simple to install. I remember the last time we did it, it was very simple. I don't know if it has a, let's see, does it have a SQL? Let's see. It'll be here maybe. No, that one's locked. That's for SQL, it looks like, yep. Profiles, no. Vehicles, no. That's the version check, of course it won't be there. And of course, you can look here. I always want to look to see, because they don't always tell you where the webhooks are, if they have any. I don't know if there would be one on this one, but maybe this one. I bet it's locked. Nope. Not that one. I can't remember if it had one in the last install or not. That's why I don't know for sure. I don't think it did. But it's always a good idea to look. I don't think it does. We'll look here one. Let's see. No, it doesn't. Okay. So it doesn't have webhooks, which is fine. Webhooks can be very annoying at times. So we're going to go ahead and drag this in. So we're going to go to resources. And of course with me, I've got everything separated down. You guys do it as you see fit. Grab and drop. And if you guys haven't done it already, please, while this is doing this, you can go ahead and smack the like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you want. Hit the bell so you know when we drop new videos when we go live, as well as leave us a comment for any craziness you want to comment on about my no edit, very shoddy videos. I'm good with it. I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible. Get in the Discords. They're all linked in. Go be a part of the Podcast Nation. Whatever you guys want to do is great. We always welcome new people looking to be admins, moderators, advertisers. Some people, everybody's different. Everybody's good at different things. So, all right. So we're going to leave that as it is. So that's already installed. We'll back off of here. I always back out of stuff so that way I don't mess it up. Next thing we're going to do, of course, like always, we're going to drop. Oh, my mouse. We'll drop down here and restart. And again, here pretty soon we're getting to the bottom of these piles of these scripts that we need to install. I ask you guys to keep an eye out because I will be doing another playlist in the next few days, where maybe this weekend. Looks like I may get through some of this pretty quick. I'm going to work on it a lot today. We will be on development next, and we will still be dropping some install videos, but those will be on a local, and it will be basically dropping it in. I'll show you some of the stuff you can do with it, and then that's going to be it. I'm not going to go, do a big bunch of stuff on server scripts that we're not using, but I will show how to install some of them, like the Was Aiding Laptop, or the OK Garage, or the OK Dealership. Those kinds of things that I'm not using, but I'm familiar enough that I've installed them. I know they can be, kind of weird to look at, and how do I do this and how do I do that. So let's get after it. So we've got to install, we've got to restart. So let's get back up here. See if I can get FiveM to agree with us. It did. Last night when I was doing this, that's the reason I didn't do this video last night, is I was having issues with, why is it doing that? I was having issues with my FPS was really low for some reason. I don't know why. I still haven't really figured it out. FiveM, come on now. There you go. I don't know why it did that. Yeah, I was having a really bad, like I can only do 60 FPS on mine because one of my screens is, well, two of my screens are docked for 60 FPS. They're the Samsung Curves. And my main screen, of course, isn't, but where, of course, you can only run the max of your slowest screen. But for some reason, we were doing that last night with the mechanic script. We were having a lot of choppiness because of I had a really big drop in FPS, and I don't know why. Okay. I'm going to leave it up to internet issues. We've been having a lot of internet issues, so that could be what it is. One of the bad things about living further away from civilization, like I prefer to be, is I'm left to dealing with some shitty internet sometimes. Alright, so I haven't really adjusted anything. As you can see, the arrows are still in the bad spots, which is fine until we get ready to do development. Right now, what I want to do is I want to show you guys how this tuning laptop situation works. So I'm going to go out here. And believe it or not, I'm going to spawn the craziest car you would ever think. Now here is something that was added in last night too. This is part of moving everything around. I don't like the lifts. That's why I left it out here. This goes with the mechanic script. I don't like them. You can use them if you want. I just personally don't like them. I mean, because they don't always work the way you want them to. You have to lock the cars to them, and it's just not my thing. But that's, I leave that up to you. If you want to use one of them, maybe in a certain shop, if someone does, if someone's a streamer or something, that's cool. I prefer not to, and if you do use it, make sure you, in my opinion, put it in a place where there's not another one there. Kind of like in this shop. If we wanted to use that, I would have to remove one of these. Which I don't like the fact that this shop has that many of these decks in there anyways. But, it's up to you. It's actually almost the very same one we've got here. But I just don't like them. It's good for a little bit of RP here and there. But in my opinion, by the time you get the car up on the lift and get it figured out, you're done. But you know, it's good for someone who wants to do the RP. So what we're going to do is we're going to spawn the craziest car in the world, which is this one. And believe it or not, this car has a lot of extras if you not mess with it too much. And did I turn on? I didn't. Let me turn on my controller for my PS5 controller. DS4 Windows. I will do a video on this, guys. I keep forgetting to do it, but I do have it on my list. If you don't have it, to install DS4 Windows so you can use your PS5 controllers, you won't get stick drift as often. Alright, so with this one, so I think it's T/tuning, or I forget what the, let me see what, well, I have to have a tablet, I can't remember. Let's look at the script, right? It's been forever and a day since I used this one. So we're going to go here and going into handling. And we'll go to config and see if, I believe there's a code for it. I can't remember. So, did they use editor? That's kind of dumb. That's what they used. We might change that at some point. Let's see if that's what it is. T/editor. Yep, that's what it was. So we'll change that. I would, personally, I'm going to change it to tuning or something, or tuner, something of that nature. So here it is. Now you have a couple of versions. I prefer this one on a normal basis. This is a simplified drop-down menu. Really, really easy to do. The other one is the advanced editor. This actually goes in and you can make adjustments to basically 90% of the car. The only problem is, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to screw something up. So, I mean, that's my personal opinion on it. I recommend that if you can, go ahead and lock this down. Don't let just anybody mess with this part, because of the fact that it will really severely mess up the car. I mean, you can mess with the car, the fuel consumption, all the handling on this car can be messed with in this menu. I mean, you can make it stick to the frickin' road and go mock Jesus. So, but I like this one just for normal everyday thing. Preset, you can make it, let's make this one a supercar. And transmission, we're going to do a dual clutch automatic. And we're going to use sport brakes with, let's do that. And then we're going to turn up the speed as far as it'll go. And then we're going to use an all-wheel drive. And then we're going to use a, let's see, let's use sport. And you can add wing if you want. I don't recommend this because what it says, it puts downforce. And it can make the car run weird. And when you hit apply, it's going to say if you are running Gym Mechanic, these edits are, and override service damage won't be applied until the vehicle reset. See how it says apply temporarily until vehicle despawns? And you can apply it to the plate so it stays to this particular car. Apply to all vehicles of this model always. So don't ever let anybody do that. That's why I say it's really, you want to be careful who you let use this. So I say let's just do temporary for this one. Okay. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to go pretty damn fast if it works. See, it even raised it up a little bit. See how it's jacked up a little bit? Now let's see. Seat belt, as always, people remember, wear your seat belt. But as said, you can take a little bitty, what everybody thinks is a crappy little car, and make it go stupid amounts of fast. And there's what? And it's not because of my crappy driving, I promise. This thing is really, really floppy because it raises suspension up on it. That's why I say you need to be real particular how you do it. Because you can turn a fast car into a weapon. And where it's so turned up, I have very, very small amounts of control. So, but again, that's why I say it's always a good idea to be careful who you give access to this to. This is not a toy, even though it is for a game. It can mess up not just the car, but all the cars. As you can see, you can not only save it as temporary, you can save it to this car and every version of this car. So be careful. We will get into more of the development side of the script, and I'll show you guys how to limit some of the things that people can do, how you can change things, how you can be more proactive with who gets it. So that being said, that's basically the summation of installing that. Now, like I said, it's a pretty in-depth thing, but it can cause a lot of problems if you let it. Be very, very, very careful. Take your time, and don't just let anybody use it just because they say that they want to. And if you do, always back up stuff regularly, because if they save this to the database, you'll have to go in and delete tunes out. And, if they do the entire thing, you have to go in and try to find which tune was that, and you have to remove that. And one or two times of doing that and messing everybody's cars up, you're going to be really stressed out about it. And I don't like to see people that way. So, but that's going to end it for this one, guys. Like I said, this is the basic install on it. A short little overview. All these parts here have different meanings. You guys need to do a little research. Look it up before you start messing with stuff. There are documents out there on Reddit. There's some on the CFX websites that show what these items mean, what they do, how to tweak them, and how not to. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And all else, just be really careful, okay? As always, guys, if you don't mind, to go ahead and subscribe, like the video, comment down below, good, bad, or the other. We always like to hear from everybody. Get into the Discords. If you guys looking to be part of the community, we're always looking for help as well. Admins, moderators, people to do advertising, that kind of thing. Ideas with our podcast as well. We're always looking for information from people. We need to talk about this. Look what happened here. I'm interested in this story. I'm interested in what's going on over here. What are you guys looking for? As well as streaming too. What games do you guys like? Always looking for more information. We're looking for more commentary from the community. But again, that's going to cut it for this one. I will be back in the next little bit, dropping a second video for the day. We're probably going to get several today, as today is going to be, I'm hoping, my final install for this pack of scripts. So I'm hoping to culminate it all with a long live stream where I'm going to do the Kairos. So again, thanks for hanging out with me, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.